guys, we are monitoring live.
15 minutes, 10 seconds.
We are entering the Earth's atmosphere now, and we're going to be coming into comms blackout here in just a minute. I have tried my best to get this broadcast up, and I'm just about at my wit's end right now.
Blackout period. No voice, no data from the crew.
All right, we've entered blackout.
We're 30 seconds away from the anticipated point of peak heating on the vehicle, where temperatures will rise to about 4,000 to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the true test of our trajectory. And from the G5 aircraft in the vicinity of the splashdown zone, this view of integrity. So that pinpoint of light shows the vehicle as it enters the period of peak heating in the Earth's atmosphere, the first tug of gravity being felt by Integrity's astronauts since their launch back on April 1st.
All right, I'm checking for any other feeds that are available. There is none.
Blackout period. Time to splashdown, 11 minutes, 33 seconds.
Fake. What are you talking about, fake? The stuff that we're actually seeing is fake? Is that what you're saying?
On integrity.
Are you one of those?
Three and a half minutes left in this blackout period. This is a visualization of the plasma buildup around the spacecraft and the repelling of that heat on Integrity's heat shield.
Well, that's why they have a heat shield. You should read about this stuff. It's neat. It's fun. All right, guys, we are coming through the atmosphere at this point, and we are in comms blackout. Communications blackout because of plasma that stretches around the entire spacecraft, prevents radio communication.
The vicinity of the splashdown zone do have a visual on Integrity. Still 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in our blackout period.
This is live right now.
Splashdown, 9 minutes, 35 seconds.
I had a hell of a time. Guys, I got home 3 minutes before I hit the live button. Nothing's working right. I don't care. I just went live. I got the wrong thumbnail, the wrong description. I don't care. We're here.
And the WB-57 flying in the splashdown zone also has a visual.
Okay, so we've got ground-based units now with a visual on the spacecraft.
Also have visuals. We're still in the blackout period. Still do not have communications from the crew.
All right, I've got a bunch of different sources
Standing
here,
by for communications.
but not all of them. They're all
should be out of the
showing
blackout
basically
period
the
less
only
than a minute
feed we
from
have
now.
right now, which is the one from NASA. Upper left is live out of the Middle East.
Velocity is dropping very fast now. They're entering the thicker parts of our atmosphere. The lower they get.
Yeah. All right, so trying to find some anybody that's got any different feeds up
We
here
are now
at all.
processing data from Integrity.
The data stream usually will come up first.
Landing and support officer reports the small boats are en route to the splashdown target zone.
I haven't even turned everything on yet, guys.
Passing through 150,000 feet, our trajectory is perfect. We're getting intermittent views of Integrity. Still waiting to establish voice communication.
Integrity, Houston, comm check, post-blackout.
Houston, Integrity, we have you loud and clear.
They got him. All right, we made it through blackout.
Is nominal and
That's the scariest part of the mission right there. Holy shit.
Guys, looks good.
All right. They're going, the worst on the heat shield is already over with. The heat shield survived.
Cheers from the viewing room here in Mission Control as voice communication reestablished with Commander Reed Wiseman. For America and a waiting world, Integrity is 5.5 minutes away from coming home. Passing 100,000 feet now. Range to splashdown 19 nautical miles.
Integrity, impact to the camera controller fail is no cab 1 views of the chute.
Integrity.
We're processing good data through the GPS system. A good view of Integrity, time to splashdown 4.5 minutes.
All right, there's the first shots of it coming in right there.
From the
See, it's already enough into the atmosphere and slowed down enough. There's no longer plasma coming up around it. So we've gone through the most dangerous part of the mission already. There it is. We should see chute deployment here before long.
The pyros are armed for forward bay cover jettison. And there go the first series of parachutes. And we're on drogues.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drones out the window.
2 good drogue chutes. Next up.
We copy, we see them.
Okay, these are very small chutes that come out to begin the process of slowing down.
Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Boy, that thing's warbling pretty good. A hell of a ride in there for those guys. Looks like it's
Perfect
starting.
descent rate according to flight dynamics.
Good rate on 2 drogues.
We see the same on board.
Passing through 10,000 feet, still on drogues.
Next, we'll have a series of smaller chutes that will come out, and eventually the big chutes will come out at the end. Okay, there we go. Just drop that set of chutes. Another set of chutes goes up. These are much bigger, but these are still not the final set of chutes, I don't believe.
We're at 5,000 feet.
Looks like we got 3 good chutes again.
Engine recovery beacon has been activated on integrity.
Yep, 3 good chutes.
And we have 3 good main chutes. Good 3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
Good rates, and we see 3 good-looking parachutes.
There'll be these 3 will dump off. There'll be 3 even larger ones coming.
Integrity. Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine check.
Integrity captains.
This is a perfect descent for integrity. Its crew sounding hale and hearty on board. Time to splash down 1 minute, 15 seconds.
It's amazing, isn't it? Liberator, it's absolutely amazing that they can do this.
Integrity about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon.
Okay.
Passing through 1,000 feet.
They're switching between infrared and normal light, guys. That's why they keep going weird like that. All right. We still got 3 more chutes to go, I'm pretty sure. 3 larger ones. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
Integrity splashdown, sending post.
Nope, there we go. With splashdown. Those were the main
Splashdown
chutes.
confirmed.
Okay.
Copy splashdown. Waiting on VLDR.
All right, there we go. We got successful splashdown, and they're still talking to him.
5:07 p.m. Pacific time. From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon, a new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
No, it is not 1960s technology. Just because it looks the same and it uses the same basic
And the
principle
landing engine officer
ideas
reports the
does not
vehicle
make
is
it the same
stable one.
technology.
We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system.
We
to
do it a lot
maintain that
safer now than we
orientation.
did back then.
A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
All right, we have splashdown. The rescue crews are on the way over there. They're going to put a thing on there called the front porch and a collar to go underneath it to make sure it doesn't sink. If it fills with water, it will sink. We had one do that. One of our astronauts hit the button or pulled the button, whatever, early and blew the hatch off before the rescue crew had the collar in place. And we ended up losing that when they recovered it from the ocean like 30 years later
Splashdown
or
time.
more, a while back.
7:07 and 47 seconds p.m. Central Time. We'll get that refined for you. That would put the end of the mission at a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 35 seconds.
The flames you were seeing right before it sat down, I assume that was something venting off. It was probably them venting off all the remaining fuel in their thrusters or something, but I do not know for sure what that was. It wasn't glitz. It was definitely fire of some kind.
Once again, the splashdown occurring in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego.
Space shuttles were never designed to leave Earth orbit.
Seconds PM.
They were never designed for this job.
Check on VLDR.
Houston, we have you loud and clear on VLDR, or how else?
We have you the same. We'll meet you over in post-landing.
Perfect communications established.
A journey. We are stable 1, 4 green crew members.
Houston copies all.
Reed Wiseman reporting 4 green crew members. That is not their complexion. That is the fact that they're in great condition. That's what that means. So stable 1, upright. The crew module uprighting system is being deployed. The 5 airbags being inflated through helium to maintain the upright configuration for the vehicle. This was a textbook entry and a textbook touchdown for integrity. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen back on Earth after a journey around the moon.
Yeah, just so you know, to leave orbit, you need 60-70% more thrust, more delta V than you would have for a space shuttle mission. The shuttles never could break orbit. It was never an option. They were never powerful enough. This thing had to be a lot more powerful than any of the shuttles ever were in order to break orbit. Low or even high orbital insertion takes a lot less fuel. And with rocket dynamics, you have to keep adding not only the fuel you need, but the fuel you'll need to carry the fuel you'll need. That's what they call rocket dynamics. And it's very interesting how it all works out. But anyway, so yeah, if you're gonna go to the moon, you have to break Earth's orbit, which takes a lot more energy than just to have an orbital. My God, listen to me. Orbital insertion. Orbital insertion. Everybody say that 3 times. Orbital insertion. It sounds dirty. Okay, so our Noble Aquarius, are we back to this is all just fake again? No one else has a real recording of this besides the media? Well, the military, NASA's sending us the images we're seeing now.
Beacon is in 406, and we're powering the radio now.
Do you know how far the camera that's taking this footage is? It's probably 3 or 4 miles away. They cannot enter the zone.
Seeing the signal. Your SAR radio uses the same antenna, so you may run into trouble with the radio.
You know, I have to admit, it takes a small person to belittle what humans have actually really done. It's right in front of your face, and you can't even accept it because you're just a troll. And so you come in here to troll me at the time that our nation has made a great trek back to the moon again. We did what we had to do to get back to the moon. We decided now no longer a public venture, but a public-private venture. And we're back to the moon. We're going to be on to Mars in another 5 or 10 years. I'm encouraged. I think it's great. But leave it to, poor, sad shitheads that sit in their mother's basement and just jab and poke at everything successful in the world to come in here and say, you probably believe that George Bush blew up the buildings. Let's see, what else do you believe? We never went to the moon. That was all done on a soundstage in California, right? Is that what you want me to believe? Yeah, whatever, dude. Listen, there's less than 2 or 3% of the people in this country that believe what you believe. And I've got much higher percentages of people. 96% of the people believe that we went to the moon. 97% of the people believe that we went to the moon. So not only are you in the minority, but you are extremely in the minority. No, I don't ignore trolls. I don't ignore trolls at all. No, I don't do it. No, I hit them back. Trolls are ignorant. They're stupid little people that sit in their mother's basement or they're crying in their Prius on one of these social media sites. I'm sick of it. They're the same ones that are out protesting in front of the ICE facilities because they not only hate their country and their president, but they hate law and order as well. No, these are the kind of people, they hate everything. And because Donald Trump had something to do with this, it must all be fake. Look, it was successful. We can't have any success. We can't have anybody feeling good out here. There's no way. No, we can't have it. We've got to come in here and we've got to smash all these good feelings back to hell where they belong. Yeah, the crazy ones have the purple hair or the union shirts, whichever. No, I don't ignore trolls. I will never ignore trolls. I confront trolls. You came to my channel. You start spewing your horse shit. No one in here is going to suddenly change their mind because of all this ignorant shit that you put in my chat room. You are helping my algorithms. I do appreciate that. Are you a flat earther too? Please tell me you're a flat earther. I love flat earthers because they're literally as stupid as you can get. I don't remember that movie. No, Life's Short, I don't remember that one. I'm a sci-fi guy. I watch very little, unless it's a really good comedy. I really don't watch anything unless it's science fiction. Flinner, please don't type in all capitals. Your speech is no more important than anyone else's. All right? That's another thing I can't stand when people come in here. People come in here and they start typing in all capitals because obviously his speech is more important than yours, right? I mean, that's why, right? Flinner, one more time and you're out, dude. Seriously. All right? I've asked you now twice. Please don't type in all capitals. Your speech is no more important than anybody else's. There's very few things that'll get you ejected from my chat room. That's one of them. I get sick of the childish bullshit. Your speech is not worth much at all because you're obviously a non-worldly, under-researched prick that just likes to come in and screw with me. It's on TV, so it's real. Okay. It's on TV. It's being carried by all the different networks. We watched it take off. I've listened to the radio traffic for 9 days. We've watched all the live views. Are you telling me all that was fake for our own? They launched that big thing up into space just for the hell of it, and this all here is staged. There's not really astronauts in that out. I mean, do you really see how ignorant it is? You know, science itself says that when you eliminate all other possibilities, what remains must be the truth. That's what we have here. You can't give me any valid argument as to this being something other than exactly what it is. But because you hate Donald Trump and you hate this country, you can't possibly wrap your head around us doing something good or something right. And that sucks, really. Keep asking me to answer the question. I don't know what question you're wanting me to answer. Is someone else asking me questions? I don't think they could have heard it in San Diego. But you're gonna put it on that, right? Everything's bullshit because you didn't hear a sonic boom at a certain location that was hundreds of miles away from the return track. How far do you think sounds travel? That's what I thought. Yes, it is. They will put a collar. Here comes the boat now. They're going to put a collar around it. And then they're going to put another boat. There's a small little inflatable thing that goes in front. They call it the front porch. And then they'll step out on that. And as they're on that, they'll be loaded into a basket and carried out. Yes, it was a great space mission. They did a great job. Great crew. The only thing that went wrong was we had a toilet quit working. So other than needing a plumber up there, we did fine. There you go, Sal Pal. That's probably is the question they have. Yeah, it was definitely a great mission. Then they will hide. Hide what? I don't understand. This is a little ridiculous, you guys. What you mean they're going to put up something so we can't see that there's not really a crew in there? Is that what you're saying? We're not actually going to get to see anything, right? I want to know, Flinner, are you a flat earther? Number one, are you a flat earther? Number two, do you believe that George W. Bush brought down the Twin Towers and not Muslims? And number three, do you think we went to the moon? You answer the question for a change. I never said any. What are you saying I said is full of shit? I don't know what you're talking about. There's only one thing full of shit. It's not me, and it's not the spacecraft. I'll let you leave the rest to your imagination. Flat Earther detected. Whoop, whoop. Probably. Yes, the Earth is definitely spherical. You know what? We got pictures of it. It's pretty cool. They found a Dollar General in a Wawa. That's funny. It's true. Yeah, they probably found two Dollar Generals, and they were like 4 miles apart. It was kind of ridiculous. Dollar General seems to have the business model of we want to be close enough that everybody can walk. Yeah, there is a bulge around the equator. That's true. That's true. Yeah, well, nothing's a perfect sphere. Nothing's perfectly round. Nothing holds its perfect orbit. It's nature after all. We'll listen in on this for just a minute.
Good idea, standing by. And Jackie, yes, we are pushing the push to talk, the two buttons on the left side of the radio below the up-down arrows. We are utilizing them. I'm rebooting the radio to see if we get good comms.
Okay, we copy all, and just to confirm, you are seeing that you're touchdown plus 3030 for power, correct?
That's affirmative.
We are trying a backdoor approach to have mission control here call the crew on their satellite phone. This is all part of the coordination for the power down of the vehicle that will initiate the actual recovery operation. The first boats with the Navy divers on board are standing by, waiting to close in on integrity to begin the process of erecting the large inflatable raft.
Get on with it.
Porch that will be where the astronauts are extracted from, so that they can have a few minutes to get their land legs back before they're hoisted aboard the Navy helicopters for the flight back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha.
And Houston, please don't reply. NRD, very weak. but readable. Master diver, we can hear, but they cannot hear us.
Are experiencing just a little bit of comms issues between the ground crew, or I should say the ocean crew, and the spacecraft, but that's not a big deal. This can be done without it if it has to be. They just want to coordinate. They want to get everybody talking. Something we did in the fire service and in law enforcement many years ago, we realized how important it is to get the two people talking to each other. And slowly over the years, they've got in a lot of places now when police, fire, and EMS and whatever else are responding to something, they put them all on a common frequency so they can all talk to each other. When I was a firefighter, we were on our channel, the ambulance was on their channel, the cops were on their channel, animal control was on their channel, the county was on their channel, and it sucked. And they realized over time the best thing to do is get everybody on a common frequency that's on that one specific incident. And I think that's what they're doing here. They're wanting to get the Navy crews to be able to speak directly to the astronaut. You joke about a Baofeng, that's all they need. A Baofeng, program marine frequencies in, you'd be all set.
We stand by for the establishment of communications between Integrity and the recovery team that is basically standing by very close to the spacecraft. We're going to go to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha, where Megan Cruz is standing by with Administrator Jared Isaacman.
Hey, Rob, yeah, just such an honor to be able to be here on the ship, to be able to share and experience this moment with everyone together. And of course, as you just said, yes, here with NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. Administrator, how did you feel getting to witness this and seeing NASA at its best?
Oh, I mean, I'm honestly, I'm still at a loss for words. I mean, you know, like the childhood Jared right now can't believe what I just saw. I mean, almost been waiting my whole lifetime to see this, and then it's NASA Administrator. I just couldn't be more proud of the entire workforce, the years, the effort, the late nights, all the hard work from across the country that contributed to this incredible moment right now. And yeah, incredibly grateful too for our teams here on the John P. Murtha right now.
Yeah, look at them behind us here.
Got everybody. Hey, what do you guys think? We just brought some astronauts back from the moon, huh? Unbelievable. Thank you. Yeah, so grateful to the Navy, the sailors that are here, the NASA teams. I mean, this is a joint effort that's on their way right now. These recovery forces are getting out to our Orion spacecraft, to Integrity, to get our astronauts back on the ship safely.
Yeah, and this is not just an accomplishment for NASA. This is an accomplishment for humanity. Again, a historic mission to the moon and back. How does this make you feel, and what do you hope people take away from this?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, I think about the crew members that we've all had an opportunity to observe over the last 10 days, right? I mean, they're absolutely professional astronauts. I mean, wonderful communicators, almost poets. But then I think these were the ambassadors from humanity to the stars. That we
it's not the data as much as we learned what the spacecraft can do, and getting all of the data from the spacecraft maneuvering and the spacecraft doing all the things that I do. That's the kind of thing we're learning, how to go back to the moon with this new technology. And this time, instead of 11 missions, we're doing it in 4.
Which you hear sometimes around here is like, this was a once-in-a-lifetime. No, it's not. This is just the beginning. We are going to get back into doing this with frequency, sending missions to the moon until we land on it in 2028 and start building our base.
Yeah, are we going to build on the momentum for Artemis 3? I mean, it's just around the corner.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's, you know, part of me, too. I can't wait to get the crew off of Integrity right now, but also getting Integrity back on this ship so we can start taking a look at it, because all that data is so precious to us right now. I mean, we are going to definitely want to take a good look at the thermal protection system. We're going to want to download all the data they couldn't transmit back to us and use that to inform Artemis 3. But we're already making progress, right? You had SRB segments already showing up at KSC. Core stage for Artemis 3 is rolling out on April 20th. We're getting Mobile Launcher 1 back in vehicle assembly building. So yes, there is a lot to celebrate right now on a mission well accomplished for Artemis 2. 2, and at the same time, we got to start getting ready for 3.
Amazing. And last question, you know, for people who joined us for all 10 days to see what we can accomplish together with our international partners, what do you think about the fact that we're going to keep doing this more and more and more?
It's incredibly exciting. I mean, yes, it's the contributions, like the best and brightest across the NASA workforce from across the country, our industry partners, our international partners. We had a Canadian Space Agency astronaut on board in Jeremy. We had the European Service Module. And you think, in the days leading up to this launch, I mean, 48 hours prior to launching Artemis 2, I was meeting with the Italian Space Agency. We signed a memorandum of understanding to build a habitation module on the moon. I mean, you have countries, all of our allies and partners coming together saying, we are committed to this effort, we are returning to the moon, we're doing it to stay, we are building that enduring presence, we are going to master the skills on the surface of the moon so someday we can undertake missions to Mars. It's just an incredibly exciting time, and we're not going at it alone, we're bringing everybody along with us.
Absolutely. And speaking of everyone, one more time, we're going to ask the crew here, you guys ready to land on the moon? Awesome. I love that. Okay, well, thank you so much, Administrator. Appreciate you being here. We're, of course, going to stay on to watch the crew get extracted from Orion, so stay tuned, and we'll see you back here shortly.
All right, this is Starship Adventures,
Thank you, and thank you, Administrator.
We are covering the Artemis splashdown. We are down at this time. They're setting things up. I don't know. It seems like there's a little delay here because of a communication issue. We're going to continue to listen in. My name's Ian. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth on Starship Adventures.
Bullseye touchdown that occurred at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time, 2.5 hours before sunset in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego. We have once again heard from the crew during that interview opportunity with the administrator, and we have 4 healthy crew members on board. We now have confirmation that the vehicle has been powered down as per the procedures. So we have vehicle powered down, and the flight control team here in Houston, Flight Director Rick Henfling, has handed over mission authority to the Exploration Ground Systems team out in the Pacific. Now, we will physically not get off console with this team until the crew has been extracted into the front porch, that inflatable raft that will be erected along the side hatch of Integrity. So we're standing by for that in the next step in the recovery procedures. But everything is in great shape, and we have 4 healthy crew members on board the vehicle. All of the entry events went by the book, no issues, perfect trajectory for Integrity that was culminated with one final raise burn to improve the angle of attack for the vehicle as it entered the Earth's atmosphere. All of that flight dynamics computation worked like a charm. So we are standing by for the recovery team to approach Integrity and begin the process of erecting that inflatable raft called the front porch, which will see the crew members be extracted from the hatch of Orion into that inflatable raft before they're hoisted aboard 2 Navy helicopters in a variety of different configurations. Each crew member will be hoisted in sequential fashion, in alternating fashion, 2 crew members for each helicopter before they turn around to head back to the John P. Murtha. Once on the deck of the ship, they'll be brought into medical bay for comprehensive medical exams. But Reed Wiseman has reported several times that the crew is in excellent shape. So just to recap, it has been some 26.5 minutes since the splashdown of Integrity in the Pacific. The vehicle is in excellent shape. It performed like a champ all the way down through the Earth's atmosphere. All of the vehicle functions were checked off in excellent trip hammer fashion. The parachutes all deployed as planned. Splashdown occurring at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. And after a bit of a tussle to try to establish a communications link with the recovery team, we were finally able to run through the procedures for the powering down of the vehicle. We've handed over mission authority to the Exploration Ground Systems folks out in the Pacific, and the recovery team will be approaching the vehicle shortly to erect the inflatable raft called the front porch before opening the hatch to Integrity to bring the crew members onto that raft before they're hoisted onto 2 Navy helicopters, 2 crew members for each helicopter, before they're flown back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha.
See, once they splash down or get close to the ground, they have to switch to conventional communications. Before, they were beaming them with a dish, and they were basically we were hitting them with ground dishes and getting great signals. But as they get closer and closer and closer to the Earth, we lose all of those forms of communication, and pretty soon you have nothing left except they've probably got a repeater on that boat that's out there, on that ship, and they probably are dialed into that. And so they literally had to reconfigure for ground communications and then make contact through the repeater on the boat, is what I'm assuming. Remember, even though you're out in the open ocean, and radio does propagate better over water than it does land, they're how many miles did we say they were off the coast? Crap, I had it right here. I don't know what happened to it. 50 to 80 miles. That's too far for conventional communications. You're way over the horizon because this thing's sitting right on the water. So that's why it got a little complicated there. I think because they're probably using, like I said, some kind of repeater that's on the boat, that's on the ship out there, that then relays back to space what they're saying. I have no idea if any of this crew is hams. I haven't heard. Yeah, I don't always have the camera on. Do you guys want to see me? I don't care. I've actually been working around the shed here, turning things on, getting things ready, because when I got home to the studio tonight, I went on like 10 minutes later. So I haven't even turned everything on yet. Well, there you go. Motorola is the best equipment you'll ever buy, even today. When I was a firefighter back in the 90s, the late 80s and the 90s, there was only one kind of radio you would find in our fire trucks, and that was a Motorola. I had Max Tracks, I had Merit Tracks. Oh man, we had a bunch of.
After talking to the flight dynamics folks, we have a bit of a refinement on the splashdown time for you. Their computation shows a splashdown time of 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time, 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. That would equate to a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds. Once again, from Flight Dynamics, a splashdown time of 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. That would equate to a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds.
I listened to Art Bell for many, many years. We got a fire truck in the fire truck, a radio in the fire truck, just so we could listen to it in the middle of the night.
That the recovery team, in communications with the crew aboard Integrity, that the crew remains in excellent shape as they await the approach of the team for a final hazard gas evaluation before they move to the side of the vehicle to erect the inflatable life raft called the front porch.
I go back further than that. I used to refurb the radios from the old days and get them working again for the volunteers. And I found 10 BOCOM 70s in a storage bin. And I pulled them out, and 8 of them worked. And I found 8.
With Integrity, the vehicle is powered down. All of its systems are now safe. We have handed over mission authority to the Exploration Ground Systems folks in the Pacific, but we will not stand down and have the entry flight control team depart its positions until that inflatable raft, the front porch, is erected, the hatch open, and the crew having exited the vehicle. So that's the next step in the recovery process that will lead to the hoisting of the crew members. For 2 crew members for each helicopter, they'll be hoisted to a pair of Navy helicopters that will then fly a short distance back to the USS John P. Murtha. What you're looking at is one of the fast boats circling the vehicle to make a hazard assessment.
Anyway, I got 8 of those BOCOM 70s working. And I had 7 good PL boards. So I actually was able to install 7 of those radios. They were the same ones used in the Atom 12 car from the 60s. They had the red light and the green light. And most of them were 2-channel. There was a couple of 4 channels. And they had the big square silver crystal boxes that went down in there. Like I said, an aftermarket PL board that had been wired in because we had repeaters that required PL, and had the big, huge mics. Those things were 20-something years old. We were still putting them in people's vehicles and making them work. And they were 80 watts. I mean, it was no bullshit. They were 80 watts. And we always had 5/8 antennas. We would buy the 5/8 antennas for them. Those little quarter waves didn't work as good. Oh, well, thank you, Kevin. I do appreciate that. That does help quite a bit. Yeah, they're bulletproof, all right. I love them. Joseph, my buddy Joseph's a big Motorola guy. He's got Motorola mobiles, Motorola portables. He's into it. I don't have the money quite yet to get into it. I'm buying Baofengs from China, but they're pretty good, too. They're no Motorola. I know this video does not seem the best, but you guys have to remember this is chopper video from probably 3 miles away or something. God knows. It's pretty steady. It looks too high to be shipboard video. It looks like they're on top of a 20-story building or something, so it has to be coming with a chopper. Oh, you know what? They had balloons. This is a balloon shot. Never mind. This is a balloon shot. I saw the balloons. They were putting them up earlier. I don't know. It sure looked like those. It looked like the same ones had the 48 independent wires in the back that you had to put into the exact 48 different slots. It had the mic that came out the lower right, one green, one red. On-off switch on the left,
again,
I think.
You're watching the initiation of the recovery of the Artemis crew aboard Integrity. All of the Navy divers and the fast boats are now approaching the spacecraft after conducting a hazard assessment. The vehicle has been powered down. Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling now waiting for the life raft, the front porch, to be erected along the side of the vehicle so that the hatch can be opened and the crew members extracted from Integrity, soon to be hoisted one by one into a pair of Navy helicopters for a short flight back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha. If you missed it earlier, we talked to Flight Dynamics and received a more official touchdown time or splashdown time, as it were, of 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time, 5:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Pacific Time. That would equate to a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds.
I was just doing a little research here. They powered that thing down 15 minutes ago. Did they power down the life support system because what are they shuttle breathing in there? What are they doing? Because here we go. This is like the air's going to start getting pretty stale in there. Oxygen counts going down, CO2 levels coming up. Maybe shutting it down doesn't mean they've shut down the life support system. I don't. Yeah, it may have been the other kind of radio. I don't know, but it looked just like the MOCOM 70 control head. And it had the big unit that went in the back. It had the big, huge box that went in there, and you spun the ring, and it would lock down in there. It had the big red and the big black. I used to hook those up. I love them. We actually got a crystal shop called Jan Crystals here in town, way back then. And we could bring those little boxes in, and they would recrystal them to different frequencies for us. Yeah, the big whip antennas like that were for HF radios. Many places used like 39 megahertz was a government frequency. There was a bunch of places. And low band, they would use it for around town. The troopers would use it. And there was a story that they used to tell, that old Smitty used to tell over at FHP. And he said back when he first started as a dispatcher, he would dispatch his whole life, 40 years. When he started as a dispatcher, they were on HF. They were on 39.3, I think it was. And they all had the big whip antenna on the right side of the car and the whole bit. Late at night, this guy up in Tallahassee, this trooper up on I-75 in Tallahassee, or I-10, he would back in behind this sign to run radar. And when he would back in behind this sign and pick up his mic and call, his dispatch couldn't hear him. But Fort Myers could hear him 600 miles away. And he used to do it just for the hell of it. He'd back in there and he'd go, 1435, Fort Myers, how's it going down there tonight? And they would just have a conversation, and everybody would only hear half of the conversation, but the two people would hear the whole thing. And it was just a neat story to hear how the low band used to work.
Waiting for the front porch to be erected. We have no hazardous gases and no hazardous situation with the vehicle. It performed perfectly all the way down from entry interface to its splashdown in the Pacific at 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time.
Are they actually going to do it this time?
You can see the first phalanx of recovery personnel now pulling up alongside of Integrity.
Serial number one. That's pretty good.
Navy flight surgeon and other recovery personnel who have trained for several years for this recovery process.
They trained for years, but it's taken them a while here. Here we go. Maybe they're going to actually do something. I bet they've already broke out the Dramamine in there. Gonna need a bigger boat.
At this hour, some 41 minutes following splashdown, the vehicle has been powered down. There's no hazardous gas emanating from the vehicle. That's why the first team of recovery personnel has been able to pull alongside Integrity. And the reports continue to come in that the 4 astronauts are in excellent shape.
Is it me, or is this seeming like a painfully long process here? I think it may be because of all the times I go back and we watch the video from the original ones, it's all little clips of video they've put together. And it seemed like they just went right out there and got them right out. No big deal. Even the movies truncate the process, I guess. It just seems like it's taken a while. Oh, because it's resonant. Yeah. Yeah, it's resonant. I don't think the door can get stuck. They have explosive bolts. I think they can blow it. I'm not sure. All the earlier ones, they could all blow their own hatch off. Yes, you still have to take the test. Yes.
Continuing to watch the initiation of the recovery of Integrity's astronauts. One by one, they'll be brought out of the spacecraft onto a large inflatable raft just a short time from now. In the meantime, we can go back to the USS John P. Murtha, where my colleague Megan Cruz is standing by to provide her situation report. Megan, can you hear us?
Hey, Rob. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Yeah, we're back here on the bow of the recovery ship where there are still plenty of people peering out into the water. We are not very far from the action everyone is seeing on their screen now. The Orion spacecraft, Integrity, in the ocean, surrounded by a number of recovery boats. As Rob has been saying, in those recovery boats, NASA and Navy personnel specifically trained to get the astronauts out of Orion. In some of our wide shots, you can probably see that there are 6 boats out in the water. More than 40 people out in the water right now on those boats.
And yet not much has happened. Look, the ham radio test is really easy. They give you 300 questions with answers. It's a question pool. When you go in, they'll give you 30 of those questions that you already had. If you download the app and you only read the correct answers, read everything 10 times, go take the test, you'll pass it. It's not a big deal. Only read the question and the correct answer.
Is to set up the front porch and the stabilization collar. You might also hear it referred to as a stab collar. Basically just to make sure that Orion stays upright, doesn't sway in the water too much, again, to make it easier for recovery forces to get the astronauts out. Again, we splashed down in the Pacific Ocean just after 5 p.m. Pacific time here. It's a requirement by NASA to be able to get the crew out of Orion within 2 hours of splashdown.
Oh, you think 2 hours maybe? Wow. Thanks for the, thanks Life Shortwave. Thank you for the 1 gifted membership. I do appreciate that. Yep. Great 7981. You just got a membership. Welcome aboard.
And
thank you very much to Life Shortwave.
Out of Orion and onto that large raft, the front porch, folks will be ready.
Yep, no more Morse code. That's a big deal because I was dyslexic. I'm dyslexic. I couldn't pass it. So now I'm a ham because they got rid of that stupid requirement. And there's a number of us in here that can help you with this.
There are mission audio loops in Mission Control in Houston. There is a mission audio loop here on the ship, and it was just reported out that the side hatch is open. Side hatch of integrity is open. You're getting these beautiful shots from our aerial assets. The ship itself, where I'm on, just 3,000 yards away. Again, plenty of people on the boat here, glued to the side closest to where they can see all this action. And again, with just 3,000 yards separating us, great views from the bow here.
You don't need study guides. What you need is the app that goes in your phone, and then just have it give you the question and the right answer, and just read through it over and over and over again. That's all I did. Use the app. They give you the exact question and the exact right answer. Don't ever read the wrong answer.
In they go. In total, 4 will go into Orion. So it'll be a little bit of a tight squeeze, but the goal is to have a recovery personnel with each astronaut assessing them. Boats getting closer now. Again, that one that's right up against Orion, those are the divers that will go in to the spacecraft to check on each of the astronauts. These other boats will begin doing a number of things, putting on that stabilization collar onto Orion, building that front porch. Eventually, they will retrieve the parachutes, as well as tow Orion back to the well deck of the recovery ship here.
It's really not that hard. It's worth doing. You can also get your GMRS license with no test, but it's very restricted as to what you can do.
For the Navy and NASA personnel to get their assessment of the crew inside of Orion, why don't we toss it back to Rob for an update?
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Here in Mission Control, Flight Director Rick Henfling and the entry team of flight controllers still on duty. The vehicle has been powered down for some time now. There are no hazardous gases emanating from Integrity. That, of course, allowed the recovery personnel to approach the vehicle and then open the hatch to begin the initial medical assessment of the crew, as you just indicated. Now we're standing by for the erection of that inflatable raft, the front porch, alongside
an erection.
the vehicle. That will enable the crew to be extracted one by one onto the raft, have a moment or two to get their land legs back before they're hoisted into two hovering Navy helicopters, 2 crew members for each helicopter, for a short flight back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha. All of Integrity's systems operated flawlessly throughout the course of the approach to the Earth, the entry into the Earth's atmosphere, and all of the key milestones that followed in this high-speed return to Earth for Integrity, a mission that spanned more than 694,000 miles from the vehicle's launch from the Kennedy Space Center atop the Space Launch System back on April 1st.
Wow, this is exciting.
As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the last time that the Apollo program saw a splashdown in the Pacific was Apollo 17 back on December 19th, 1972. So for the first time in 53 and a half years, we have reenacted that with the arrival of Integrity's astronauts as they flew around the moon in that historic lunar flyby that began with a trans-lunar injection burn that took them out of Earth orbit following 24 hours of a high Earth orbit trajectory. The high Earth orbit trajectory enabled flight controllers here to have a full 24 hours to evaluate the systems on Integrity and the condition of the crew before they would commit to flying to the moon.
Oh, thanks again, Life Short Wayne. Appreciate that. Really appreciate that. And is it La Trosa? I'm not sure, but anyway, or it's Ion Trosa. I don't know. I'm sorry, but anyway, you just got a guest member, or you just got a gifted membership. So there you go. Yep, we're all very thankful they have made it home. They are here. You are watching live continuous coverage of the splashdown return of Artemis 2, the Orion spacecraft, here on Starship Adventures, the sights and sounds of Earth. My name's Ian. Thank you for being with us tonight. The coverage continues. Well, they said the goal was to get them out within 2 hours. They've only been down for 30 minutes or something, you know. I guess it's been longer than that. What did they, it was supposed to be 8:15. So I guess we're coming up on an hour. They got to have air still running in there. Or, well, I guess they got the hatch open, they said. Somebody call NASA and tell them to get this show on the road. It kind of looks like a comedy of errors, but I know they're doing very specific things. They had to test the air, make sure there was nothing coming off the spacecraft, there was nothing off-gassing, and then they have to do a bunch of checks, which they've done, and then they finally, I believe the hatch is open. We can't see it. Yeah, there it is. There it is. They've wrapped something yellow around the hatch to prevent them from coming in contact with it as they exit. But there we go. The hatch is open, and we're going to be able to see down in here in just a second. They put the hatch really high, so they could actually splash down even in rougher waters than this.
With the side hatch of Orion having been opened to set the stage for the erection of the inflatable life raft, known as the front porch, to be erected alongside the spacecraft for the extraction of the crew. Let's play for you an interview that my colleague Megan Cruz conducted on the USS John P. Murtha with Navy diver First Class David McMahon that explains how this process is unfolding.
Thanks, Stephen.
Okay, Davey, so you and some of your team, one last look over of the stabilization collar, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is this stabilization collar?
This is what's going to stabilize the capsule out there in the ocean. We don't know how good the weather or the waves will be that day, so this will help prevent any unnecessary occurrences from happening, stabilizing the capsule and the astronauts inside.
So basically this is a float that will go around Orion. I'm assuming that what they're doing right now, these are the lines that will attach the collar onto Orion?
That is correct.
And so what are they doing here?
So we've got the lower line that will secure the inflation device before we inflate it. That gives us the go-ahead that it's secure in its space, and then we'll inflate it, and then once that is done, we'll undo all the carabiners and get this orange line on top tied in the same fashion, and then this will be secured to the capsule, and the astronauts can safely take their first steps out of the capsule onto the front porch.
Okay, and how long will it take them to set up the stabilization collar?
We should definitely be able to handle this in under 10 minutes.
Okay, wow. And then you just mentioned the front porch. So basically after they set up this stabilization collar, then they set up what's called the front porch here.
That's correct.
Okay, and what's the front porch?
Front porch is basically a bigger waiting room for the astronauts to sit in while we wait for the helicopters to show up and grab them.
Okay, so the medical team that was inside with the crew, they're going to help them out and onto the front porch?
That is correct.
And then what happens here?
We have higher trained medical personnel also on board the front porch that will give them lookovers and just make sure they're okay while we wait for the helicopters to show up.
Okay, how does it feel? I mean, you
Thanks, Stephen. I really appreciate the super. Thank you very much.
astronauts from the moon in more than 50 years.
We all feel extremely honored to be a part of this, as well as a bigger mission for the Navy and joining up with that.
I'm glad to hear it, Heath. Nothing will make you feel better like getting the hell out of that hospital.
Yes, very ready.
Cool. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, the recovery operations are continuing out in the Pacific. We shortly should see that life raft, the front porch, erected alongside the side hatch of the vehicle. A number of flight controllers have come into the flight control room to receive congratulations from Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling, but we're going to stick with our operations out in the Pacific as we await the extraction of the 4 crew members who are reported to be in excellent condition.
That thing's rocking like a bitch. They're going to need some Dramamine in there.
Again, while we stand by for that front porch to be erected alongside of the side hatch of the vehicle, let's go back to the USS John P. Murtha and Megan Cruz. Megan?
Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate it.
Hey, Rob. Pausing now to listen to some internal audio loops. Again, the operations team here on the ship communicating with everyone out on the water. It seems like currents are hindering them a little bit from unfurling and inflating the stabilization collar as well as the front porch. But again, the requirement to get the crew out within 2 hours of splashdown, plenty of time. So no concerns just yet. But as calm as the water looks, yeah, it looks like it's hindering the teams just a tad.
Don't worry about the front porch. They've had enough time to install a game room.
You can see in some of our shots that side hatch still open. Again, inside there are now 8 people inside.
Nobody fart.
Divers, Navy divers, all with medical training, each assigned to an astronaut each.
We've been hearing about this porch for hours.
Comfortable, feeling good. As you've heard us say in the broadcast, you know, they expect a little bit of discomfort. Again, these astronauts just traveled back to Earth at 25,000 miles an hour, a nearly 695,000 mile journey around the moon. If you think you get carsick. Again, 6 boats out there, lots of gear with them, just in case, right? As we said, the crew reported feeling great, but again, all those folks out there in case they weren't, right? NASA is all about making sure we think about every situation that can happen, and so of course wanted to be ready in case any of our astronauts needed more medical attention while out there in the water. You see now teams again trying to set up the stabilization collar and front porch for the crew to get out of Orion. They need both, right? The stabilization collar will keep Orion from swaying as you see it is doing now. And then they will connect the front porch to the stabilization collar.
Promises,
so that
promises.
The crew can take 2 steps, and they will be in the front porch.
Yeah, I know. What's the most stressful part of the mission? Waiting for them to get their act together once we splash down.
Not a lot of chatter on the mission audio loops. That's a good thing. Again, things proceeding pretty nominally, even if they're fighting some currents out there on the Pacific Ocean. Again, the goal, setting up the stabilization collar and the front porch so that the crew can rest comfortably in the front porch, get placed into harnesses, so that 2 helicopters can lift them off the front porch and onto the USS John Murtha here. The helicopters are
No, they're reported to be completely healthy. They're going through normal checks.
Helo 1 and Helo 2. Okay, and the recovery team here on the ship just got a report from the undersea medical officer who is inside the capsule with the crew. He is reporting all 4 members are green. All of our 4 astronauts, Reed, Victor, Christina, Jeremy, green, meaning they are feeling great. Not
there
the
you go.
complexion of their skin. They are feeling great, happy to be home, and ready to be extracted as soon as possible. And so, as I was saying, we have 2 helicopters circling the activity you're seeing on the water right now. Each will take turns picking up an astronaut. So Helo 1 will come on in, hover above the front porch, about 40 feet above the front porch. A Navy recovery specialist will be hoisted down into the front porch.
They wear them like watches. They're health monitors,
We'll
yes.
connect to the first astronaut, which we're expecting to be Christina. And then Helo 2 comes around, picks up Jeremy, while Helo 1 stays above head. And then Helo 1 will come back in for another astronaut, and then Helo 2 for the last astronaut, and then back to the flight deck here on the recovery ship. I was talking to Assistant Artemis Recovery Director Paul Sierpinski. He said helos are a much quicker, safer way to get on board. They did actually consider boats, but then if you think about it, longer time, the crew would have to move through more of the ship. This way the helos will give a more direct, quicker route to the medical bay for our 4 astronauts. Beautiful shots from our aerial and imagery teams. Clouds have dissipated for a clear view from the bow of the recovery ship here. You can still see divers in the water there. Encircling Orion, that is that stabilization.
Yeah, they've done one of the other, I think one of the other guys is doing that, where the ship just kind of goes over the top of it and picks it up. Kind of makes sense.
They have to first connect it to Orion, and then once it's secured onto Orion, they can inflate it, and then they'll further secure it with other harnesses and lines. About an hour and 10 minutes since splashdown in the Pacific Ocean here. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy back home after a history-making mission to the moon and back. if you missed what we said just a couple of minutes ago, the undersea medical officer inside with the crew in Orion, reporting all 4 crew members feeling great.
Maybe a little seasick because they won't get him out of the damn thing. But hey, feeling good.
Stabilization collar. It looks like they are beginning to inflate it. And it looks like they're starting to unfold the front porch in order to get that into the water here shortly and inflate that as well. Again, more than 40 people out in the water right now.
Where's Trump going? He's getting on Air Force One.
And those Navy and NASA personnel have been in the water for now about 4 hours. The reason why they had to get out so early is just to stage everything. And actually here on the ship, when there are flight operations happening, you can't have anything else, right? Just because the flight deck can be a dangerous place, so they just want to focus on planes coming and going from the ship, so that's why they wanted to get the boats in the water to make sure that they have all the time they needed for the flight ops. And then the same crew here out in the water, they will stay out in the water for a number of hours after we recover the crew and get them back on the ship, because then they have to recover Orion. All right, that stabilization collar looking good around Orion. We're now seeing some recovery personnel getting on to that collar. Again, they need to further attach it to Orion to make sure that it can really prop up the spacecraft. It's basically lifting it up off of the water just a tad. Again, so it's not so so it doesn't sway so much in the water there. And now that front porch looks like it's nearly fully inflated as well. You can see a much larger surface area. And so once the crew get out of Orion, they can stretch their legs a little bit on this front porch, get some fresh air. And enjoy this beautiful day here on their home planet. It appears teams now are about to connect the front porch to the stabilization collar. And at that point, when both are secure, we should soon see astronauts come out of Orion. all these views you see also being fed to the Landing Force Operations Center here on the ship. Of course, it is very important for our recovery teams leading the mission to have all the views that you're seeing as well. Again, listening to their communication loop here on the ship. Very quiet, which is a good thing. It means things are going pretty nominally, meaning as expected. Again, all this activity happening just 3,000 yards away from the ship. So that means this will be a very quick flight back on the helicopters for the crew. 2-3 minutes, and then they'll be back here on the ship.
I know.
Okay, saw a thumbs up from one of the personnel on the front porch. It looks like they are now getting ready to deploy what they call the Air Rescue Vest, ARV. And so this is the harness that each crew member will get into in order to be hoisted into the helicopters. Again, those helicopters hovering just about 40 feet above the front porch when they're ready to pick up each crew member.
Okay, I got the flight tracker up on the upper right there. There's only 2 aircraft out there at this time, and I've got them both on the tracker. If any other aircraft come up, I'll put them up.
Behind me, a fairly raucous scene as hundreds of flight controllers have poured into the flight control room here. This is reminiscent of the scene after the final shuttle mission of STS-135, although that was the end of a program. This is only the beginning of a program with the textbook splashdown of Integrity and its 4 astronauts. We're standing by for the crew to be extracted from the spacecraft. Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling invited all of these flight controllers who have contributed to this mission to enter the flight control room to have an opportunity to receive well wishes and to share the mutual glow that exists in the wake of a textbook mission for Integrity. On the front screen here in Mission Control, a sign that says "Welcome Home Integrity, taking humanity back to the moon, going further, and returning safely to Earth." So all of that jubilation, part of the post-splashdown activities, even as we await the crew being extracted from the vehicle to be hoisted onto Navy helicopters for the trip back to the USS John P. Murtha.
She sits here and plays with this tablet. She keeps changing the channel on it. What are you doing? Can I pick the channel tonight? Sorry. Yeah, the helicopter that you see on the tracker is United States Coast Guard. The other one is United States Navy, the plane that you see flying around. And that is in real time.
Once again here in Mission Control, this view of the Artemis Flight Control Room, known as the White Flight Control Room.
Wow, look at that. They're all in there.
Room, and now is the home of Artemis missions to the moon and beyond. Once again, quite a few flight controllers were invited in by Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling to share in the jubilation following the successful splashdown of Integrity. That splashdown occurring an hour and 22 minutes ago, as we stand by for the completion of the extraction of the crew, and ultimately they're hoisting onto Navy helicopters for a short flight back to the USS John P. Murtha. Splashdown occurred at 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. I had an opportunity to talk to the head of Flight Dynamics, Jeff Birch, a moment or two ago. He said the trajectory of Integrity coming through the Earth's atmosphere was so precise, they've never seen anything line up on a ground track like today's entry by Integrity for its splashdown southwest of San Diego.
I wonder if they saw Willix the whale, because he's up there on the moon too, from South Park.
And the initial, you can hear it. Jubilation here in the flight control room. The first crew member is out of Integrity.
Well, it said as long as 2 hours. This was an hour and 15. That's not so bad, I guess. Like I said, all the stuff we used to watch from the moon missions and stuff was all chopped up. We never know how long it actually took.
Momentarily to be extracted. We now have 2 crew members out. Two crew members out, 2 to go. We're about 1 hour from sunset out in the Pacific. Everything continues to go well. Integrity's systems function perfectly during its entry back to Earth. And Reed Wiseman, the commander who will be last out of the vehicle, reported that all the crew members were feeling very well. Crew member number 3 now out. And now standing by for the commander, Reed Wiseman, who will be last out of his ship. Bobbing in the Pacific under almost ideal conditions, Integrity spanned 694,000 miles during its journey from launch to splashdown.
The captain's the last man out. That's the way it works. Yeah, the loneliest time had to be when they were behind the moon and they were in complete radio blackout.
Reed Wiseman out of the vehicle, all 4 crew members now out of Integrity. Once again, all 4 crew members now on the front porch, and the procedure to begin hoisting them up to these 2 Navy helicopters hovering overhead will begin shortly.
All right,
This is Mission Control Houston. The mission is over, but the melody lingers on as jubilation continues here in the flight control room. We should be expecting NASA's Associate Administrator, Amit Kshatriya, to be joining us shortly for a short interview while the recovery operations continue out in the Pacific. So we'll stand by for that. And then we'll turn it back over to Megan Cruz aboard the USS John P. Murtha.
That's funny, Merlin. It's true, too. If a man screws up in the woods and makes a mistake and there's no woman there to see it, did it really happen? All right, so here we go. This is the flight tracking. We got flight tracking here for the 3 Navy helicopters that are out there on this maneuver right here. I don't know if this one's like flying crazy all over. I don't know what's going on. But this is them out there running orbits around. You can see right where they're at. They're right here in there. See, that's why I got that up. You can actually see the choppers flying. Are you okay, Mama? Wow, that was a hell of a thing there. Anyway, I don't know if that was a cough or a sneeze or a fart. I don't know what it was. Yeah, there should be a helicopter picking them up.
This is Mission Control Houston here in the Artemis Flight Control Room. A number of flight controllers basking in the glory of the successful end of this mission that carried 4 astronauts around the moon on a lunar flyby, and the first test flight of Orion with crew members on board. Splashdown occurring an hour and 32 minutes ago after a flawless descent back into the Earth's atmosphere for the vehicle. Its 4 crew members in good shape, simply enjoying their time right now on the front porch, as it were, the inflatable raft alongside of their Integrity spacecraft. We're expecting Amit Kshatriya, the NASA Associate Administrator, to join us here momentarily for a brief interview before we turn it back over to Megan Cruz aboard the USS John P. Murtha, the recovery ship.
I think I just get that little boat and just have them push me over to the ship. It'd be quicker. Just push the whole front porch over there. It don't even look like a porch. Those are all 3 Navy planes.
This is Mission Control Houston. We're about an hour and 34 minutes since the textbook splashdown of Integrity in the Pacific to bring home our astronauts. And with us now is Amit Kshatriya, the NASA Associate Administrator. Amit, a little bit of history made tonight, a little bit of history made over the past few weeks. Your thoughts as this team here basks in the glow of what they just accomplished?
Yeah, Rob, we're here in the control center, and it's kind of overrun with jubilant folks from the Mission Control Houston, as well as engineering, and folks that just want to be here, part of it, as we watch our crew get extracted from the vehicle. And you know, my thought is always about these teams. The team that's in the water right now, pulling the crew out. The team here in Houston that worked so hard over the last 10 days, no sleep to get this done. You know, we still have some work to do to get the crew to the med bay here on the ship. They all look great coming out, so hopefully that won't be too long. You know, I think we saw the administrator on the boat too, giving his thanks to the Navy team on the Murtha, which they're just an incredible group of sailors. I was able to visit with them a couple weeks ago, and then if you pull it all the way back to the workers and the folks that joined the rocket at Michoud, that made the heat shield tiles that held together tonight, that, you know, that stacked the vehicle in Florida, that integrated the vehicle in Denver, that fired the engines in Stennis, that fired the boosters in Promontory. I mean, this is the entire team, coming together and being tested by the environment that this machine went through, and they did it right. The work was good. They did it right.
You've said in a number of briefings, of course, and in other forums that this is just a first step. The cadence has to step up, as the administrator has indicated. Now, it's a little early for the full report card on how Integrity did, but did this mission ultimately, from your eyes' view, exceed expectations?
It absolutely did. I mean, I was waiting to talk about this until we're in the water, and I think we still have, again, work to do to bring it in and really kind of go through it bolt by bolt and see what we learned. But I mean, so far, given what we learned during the mission and given how we performed on ascent, on entry, I always think about energy in terms of the states that you worry about the most, and every time we put these machines through these incredibly energetic states that came through. So I'm fairly confident that we made a big step tonight to get us on the path towards the surface. I think the path to the surface is open now. We do have to do all the work, and we'll make sure we talk about that as cleanly as we can. We learned a few things during the mission, but I have to tell you, this was an incredible test of an incredible machine.
From an American psyche standpoint, the Empire State Building was lit up red, white, and blue tonight. Our coverage was seen on baseball stadiums around the major leagues. How captivating was this experience for the American people, for the world, in fact, as we return to the moon?
I have not been able to watch a lot of the coverage as we've progressed through the mission. I will tell you, just from my witness in Florida before launch, and then seeing the people's faces here, and then reading where I can about how things are going. I think this has been a gift to the world from NASA. NASA has given the world a gift, proving to folks all over the place, especially young people, and that to me is what this is really about. Young people, when they see what we can do when we work together, when we have teams that collaborate, that it doesn't matter how hard the problems are, we can solve them. I'm hopeful that Artemis 2, as folks witness what we were able to do with this incredible crew, this incredible team that we've birthed into the world, scientists and engineers and artists that have been inspired by this. And even if they don't come work in the program, which separately they should come work in the program because Lord knows we need the help, but even if they don't want to come work in the program, hopefully they grow up to recognize they can do amazing things when they work together and contribute to society and be good citizens and really change the way, the challenges that are coming in the world are overcomable if we work together like this.
And one final question. Flying to the moon, we did it. We've done it again this past week and a half or so. But the engineering that went behind the design of this mission and the precision, the pinpoint precision of this vehicle entering that entry corridor, it's almost mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is incredible when you think about the energies involved and the uncertainties involved. That when we inserted the vehicle into orbit, it was 99.2% down the middle. When we dropped the vehicle right on top of the fleet here, our guys knew exactly where to go, but the guidance was perfect. And it's interesting. I've got this question a lot over the last few weeks about, we did this before 53 years ago, and that. I think, it is a reasonable thing to contemplate, like what's gone on since then. And what I'd tell you is, when we did Apollo, which again, the more we learn about what they did, the more magical it seems what they were able to accomplish given the technology and the learnings that they had. But when we did Apollo, the architects of Apollo, Gilbert, Seaman, von Braun, Mueller, what they really, really wanted to do, as they were contemplating what it meant to expand our range of action to the lunar surface, what they wanted to do was learn how to live and work in space for a long time. They wanted to do that first before they were confident they could expand their range of action to the moon. Now, of course, the politics of the time and the mission at the time was different, and so they had to go straight to the moon and bring people home. And then after that, the program kind of lost its momentum. But after that, NASA kept moving along those paths, right? So we recognized during Apollo that reusability was going to be important. We spent a lot of money on those machines, and we spent a lot of money on these machines here. But we recognized that reusability was important, which is why we built a winged space plane called Space Shuttle, and then we used that reusable machine to build a space station. and we learned for 25 years how to live and work in space, and have been able to develop technologies that can enable exploration. So really, what I think is now, 53 years later, we're at the point where the architects of Apollo would have been pleased that we're now ready to actually go back to the moon and go back to stay, because we've learned all the things we needed to learn.
There's a lot of people pleased here tonight, and we really thank you for joining us, Amit. Amit Kshatriya, NASA's Associate Administrator, as we begin to hoist the crew onto the helicopters to head back to the recovery ship. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Amit.
All right, guys, it looks like there we go. There's the first one. It's going out.
This is Mission Control Houston, with the crew members now beginning to be hoisted aboard the Navy helicopters. Let's go to Megan Cruz aboard the USS John P. Murtha, who will take it from here.
Hey, Rob, yeah, back on the bow of the ship here, we are seeing the helicopters circling Orion. The first one there, having just completed picking up the first astronaut. Kilo 2 now, hovering just 40 feet above the front porch, lowering a recovery specialist out of the helicopter. That person will touch down in the front porch just there. The crew members already outfitted with a harness that will allow them to quickly attach to the hoisting device. Look at the power of those blades throwing water out at the center there. The front porch with now 3 astronauts and the recovery specialists. Again, crews already outfitted with a harness vest. And here we go. Second astronaut now off the front porch, getting hoisted into the second helicopter. That helicopter will now hover just a distance away to give room for the first helicopter to come back and pick up the third astronaut. As we wait for that helicopter to come back, make its way back around, just want to mention that the President of the United States called our NASA administrator today while he was on the ship, just minutes after we interviewed him live on our coverage, and congratulated him and NASA on this history-making moment tonight. Helicopter 1 again hovering 40 feet over the front porch. We will soon see another recovery specialist getting lowered onto the front porch. Wow, imagine sitting on that front porch, the wind, the water. But again, the recovery team determined that a helicopter flight back to the ship here would be safer, faster, and more comfortable for our crew, who just completed a 10-day mission around the moon. Third astronaut in the air, getting hoisted quickly back into the first helicopter now. That first helicopter now on its way back to the ship here. We will soon see it land in just a few minutes. Again, all this action happening just 3,000 yards away from us, so a very quick flight back to the flight deck. And now the only person left on the front porch, Commander Reed Wiseman. That second helicopter now making its way back over to the front porch. Here it comes. Making its final approach here. The last astronaut, Commander Reed Weissman, now off the front porch and almost into the second helicopter. Both now on their way back to the ship where we are, the USS John P. Murtha, just west of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean. Exciting to see our 4 crew members minutes away from landing on the flight deck here on the recovery ship. 550 people on this ship, excited, ready, anxious, looking forward to welcoming this crew aboard. Watching them now with our own eyes. Close to the ship here. Hearing them begin to hover on the flight deck, which is just across from us, here on the bow. The first helicopter coming in. And wheels down. Wheels down of the first helicopter carrying 2 of our Artemis II crew. Pilot Victor Glover and mission specialist Christina Cook. Kilo 1 on deck reported on the recovery loop. Again, the mission audio loops that the recovery team are using here to communicate with one another. And an announcement just made on the ship, integrity incoming. 2 more helicopters on their way to the flight deck, one carrying the crew, the other, one of our imagery helicopters. Again, kudos to our imagery and aerial teams for giving us these beautiful views of history in the making. Set amid a gorgeous, soon-to-be sunset here in the Pacific Ocean. Second helicopter. Making its approach of the flight deck. Plenty of people here on the bow with their cell phones out.
No worries, guys. I enjoy it too. Thank you guys all for being here. We're going to hang out for a few more minutes. I'm going to sign off in 20 or so minutes, but we'll keep this on till we see them. I want to let you guys know I've got a bunch of stuff to do in the morning, but I'm getting it all done very early, and I will be standing by for breaking news through the day tomorrow.
As we are seconds away from wheels down. And there you go. We now have all 4 Artemis II crew members on the USS John P. Murtha. I'm sure they're happy to be out of the water and on this recovery ship.
Now they got to check them again before they can get out of the chopper.
Ready to welcome them home. But first, as we've been saying throughout the broadcast, just making sure the crew feel good. We reported that they were feeling good when they were in Orion, but those were just initial, quick, verbal assessments of how they're feeling. Their destination tonight, the medical bay here on the ship, right after we power down the helicopters here. The team on the flight deck working quickly but methodically.
There's those choppers. They moved from over. This is where the recovery was, and now they're over here at the ship. All three choppers are here at the ship. Look at that.
Very limited personnel here on the flight deck.
Maneuver doctrine is in effect.
As that third helicopter touches down.
The ship is at flight quarters. Stand clear of waiter decks, ACO frame 095, where no cover topside, thrown articles over the side, hold all trash and garbage on station. Flight quarters.
While just a few folks on the flight deck itself, there are plenty more on some upper decks. I see in some of our views a very packed crowd overhead. Announcements being made over the ship's loudspeaker system, reminding folks to stay clear of operational areas like the flight deck, so that teams can work quickly to get the crew off of the helicopters and into the medical bay. Splashdown today, 5:06 p.m. Pacific time. We are within 2 hours of that splashdown time, and already we have all 4 crew members on the flight deck of the USS John P. Murtha. Again, crew waiting before getting out for the helicopters to completely shut down.
And the helicopters are going off my radar as the transponders get powered down. And there we go. I just lost the last one. So they're all powered down now. And of course, the video we're watching is 30 seconds to a minute behind.
Helicopters one by one.
trolling flat earthers has to be pretty easy, I got to admit. I mean, come on. How hard can it be? I mean, you definitely have the you definitely got the high ground there. I mean, they're literally proving something that's been proven the other way a million times. No. There was 2 in one helicopter,
All
2 in a
right,
second
and
one.
now
The
here
third
we
one had
see
the camera
pilot
crew and
Victor
everybody.
Glover and mission specialist Christina Cook sitting on the edge of one of the helicopters, looking in great spirits. That familiar smile and laugh from Victor, I can see it from here. Christina,
They
I'm
may
sure
be a
feeling
little
the same
wobbly
way,
getting
just
off
lost a little bit
because
by our
they've been
camera
in
here, but we'll see
zero
her here
gravity for
shortly.
10 days, almost 10 days, and then they've been bobbing in the ocean for an hour and a half.
Taking their pictures. Victor saluting folks on the flight deck. They look like they're in great spirits. Happy to be home, I'm sure. If you're sitting
Happy
at
not
home,
to be
I
shitting into a vacuum cleaner
you too are
hose.
wondering what would you want to ask them if you got a chance to talk to them, because that is what I'm thinking about. Getting the opportunity to talk to or ask questions of these 4 astronauts who just made history as the first crew to return to the moon since 1972. Oh, there we see Christina there, also smiling, finally peering out, waving at the cameras. Hello to you too, Christina, yes? Welcome back. Welcome, welcome home. A loudspeaker announcement on the ship saying, "Welcome home, Integrity." Victor in great spirits. I can't see who he's talking to, but I kind of think that he might be talking to his other 2 crew members. Shouting from across the flight deck, congratulations to one another. And so now we see some Navy personnel walking up to the helicopter. This is again the first helicopter carrying pilot Victor Glover and mission specialist Christina Cook. Both have taken off their helmets now. Some pictures, video to catalog this historic moment. A beautiful sunset just behind them here in the Pacific Ocean. Golden hour. These pictures will be beautiful. Now we see NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. He is on the flight deck, as well as Flight Surgeon Rick Schuring walking over to Victor and Christina first. We saw the administrator walk over to the other helicopter, which is carrying Commander Reed Weissman and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen. We heard from Rick earlier in the broadcast. Again, he said he's going to be out there on the flight deck to do another initial assessment of the crew, ask them how they're feeling, anything bothering them. But again, from what I'm seeing, they look like they're in great spirits and feeling pretty good for folks who just traveled 695,000 miles from Florida to the moon and now here to the Pacific Ocean.
Sometimes it feels like my cabin's that far away. I'm here, guys. My camera quit. So it is what it is. The audio quit too, but I got it going again. I did not reset tonight. Normally I restart my entire system. I did not. It's been running since last night. So it's a little glitchy.
Reed and Jeremy now approaching Victor and Christina. A hug from Victor, a hug from Christina. What a moment that we're getting to experience together. I'm sure congratulatory words. You know, we got to speak to the administrator live on this broadcast as well, and he said the kid in him right now, giddy, absolutely giddy at what we were able to accomplish today. Returning them home safely and in good spirits after a 10-day mission around the moon. And here we go. We're seeing Jeremy walking, waving across the flight deck, now on his way to the medical bay. It's a short walk, less than a minute. Again, that's why the recovery team decided to use helicopters to get them on the flight deck for that short walk to medical bay. And now on the flight deck, we see the chief of the astronaut office, Scott Tingle. Rick Schuring switching places. He's going over to the other helicopter. Big hugs from Victor, Christina to Scott. Again, a gorgeous sunset setting the stage for this recovery tonight.
The truth is, slowing everything down makes everything safer. There's no rush here. As soon as that hatch was open, they've got unlimited air. They just needed to get it done by sunset. That was pretty much it.
And now here we
and
are,
so
Christina.
you take your time. You make sure every strap, every harness, every procedure.
Thankful, grateful,
yeah, I
happy to be
understand.
home.
It did seem to take a while, but I get it. I understand it.
You can see she's looking up. Again, lots of people just a few levels up off the flight deck, welcoming her home.
Hey, Crowbar, welcome back.
Scott holding the door like a gentleman, but back on his way to the other crew still on the flight deck.
Yeah, it did seem to take a while. I do agree with you. But I can understand why they slow it down.
So still on the flight deck, Victor Glover and Reed Weissman. It looks like Victor will be the next one headed to medical bay. More hugs, more hugs. He's a hugger. Victor looking good as he walks across the flight deck. NASA administrator applauding. Victor applauding for all the folks on the ship with him.
Yeah, helicopters are a whole different animal. I agree.
And finally, just one Artemis II crew member left on the flight deck, Commander Reed Weissman. Applause from the group there on the flight deck, I'm sure, as well as on the level just above them, packed with people. Reed looking good as he takes his steps towards the medical bay.
Talking about getting your sea legs back. I mean, these guys got space legs for 10 days, then they get their sea legs, and now they're back on a boat, and then eventually they'll be on land.
Again, now they will
It's got to be fun.
head into medical bay, where they will be assessed by flight surgeons from both NASA as well as the Canadian Space Agency. A more in-depth assessment When they get to medical bay, they will each have their own nurse. They will be helped out of their suits. And then again, we'll check to see that they're feeling good. Make sure it's not just adrenaline, but that they are feeling good from their long journey back from the moon. Beautiful shot of that sunset, illuminating our flight deck.
Yeah, my favorite, I just bought a new antenna for my VHF UHF. I bought the Comet GI990.
Safely on
Very
board.
high gain. I love it.
Artemis Recovery Director Lily Villarreal. Lily, I don't know how you must be feeling right now. Ecstatic?
I'm
relieved?
so ecstatic, relieved. Of course, we still have to bring the capsule into the well deck of the ship, but this is a major milestone to have the crew here on the ship and in medbay. You know, our team has been preparing and working really hard, and I'm just so proud of them all. Everything went very well, just as planned. Our teammates in Houston, the flight control team was just amazing. We were able to have great conversations and communications about everything. And I don't know what else to say. I'm just so ecstatic. It's such a wonderful feeling to get to this point. Again, we still have to get the capsule, but this is huge for all of us in landing recovery. And I couldn't do this without my team, and of course the full support of the U.S. military. There's going to be lots of, high fives when we get the capsule back in, and I'm so happy that the crew's doing well, Orion's doing well, and thank you for everybody watching.
Yeah, it was great to watch the crew come back to the ship with you. How were you feeling when you were seeing them looking so happy to be home and feeling really good?
The funny thing is that we had video of them from inside the Orion vehicle. They were like that from the beginning. When we opened the hatch, they were already out of their seats, having a good time, waiting for us to open the hatch. And they opened the hatch, and of course we did the first medical assessment. Everybody was doing very well, and they were just having such a great time with the medical team that was inside the capsule. I think they were all taking selfies with the phones that they have, probably talking about what they saw, and it was just smiles all around. They were having such a great time. And then we put them on the front porch when we were ready to put them on the front porch. And again, you could see they were just so ecstatic to be home and talking to everybody. So we were very happy to see all of that in the control room of the LFOC.
How remarkable is that? Again, if we think about their journey, the 695,000-mile journey around the moon and back, coming back at 30 times faster than the speed of sound. I mean, how remarkable is that they are in such good spirits?
I mean, this is an amazing crew. I think you guys have seen it for the past 10 days. They're wonderful people, and we're so happy that they brought us along on that ride. And I can't wait to see all the additional videos and pictures that they have that, we'll get a hold of now that they're back on the ground. And I can't wait to hear how, a little more than what we saw on the press briefings from the crew about what they saw. It's just fantastic. Some of my favorite people around this 10 days was the science team and how excited they were. And so this is exactly how we feel in the landing recovery team when the science team went, oh my goodness, when they heard all the discussions about the moon. This is exactly how we feel now in the landing recovery team. We're so ecstatic. Yeah. Again, we have to recover the capsule. I want to make sure we don't forget about our Orion.
Lily's all about business. She's thinking about what's next. But yeah, speaking of these 10 days, I mean, we have been along for the journey with them, live with them 24/7 for 10 days, and just really seeing the engagement that we've gotten from around the world. What do you hope people take away from this mission?
I think that's fantastic. So, my story was that I went to the Kennedy Space Center. I was born in Colombia. I was 10 years old when we moved to the United States, but when I was 7, my family took me to the visitor center, and that's when I learned about Apollo. And we went to the moon, and I learned about astronauts, and And that story was what really fueled me to want to do STEM and want to be an astronaut. And I think that this Artemis program is going to do exactly what, what girls, my age back then is 7, young people right now, girls and even like young men, obviously. But we want to empower people to know that you can do this, right? If you want to come and work for NASA, if I did it, they can do it. And Artemis program is just going to inspire everybody. And I'm so happy about that.
Yeah.
Like Apollo inspired me.
Thank you so much, Lily. Really appreciate you being here. As you said, still a lot of work to do. 5 to 6 more hours to recover Orion that's still out in the water. So I'll let you get back to it. But you had beautiful words to say again. We hope that this inspires people. We hope that you come and join us at NASA and accomplish great things with us in the future. Back to you, Rob.
Thank you, Megan, and safe sailing out there in the Pacific. Here in Mission Control, it is now all quiet. The team of flight controllers and all their support personnel have left the room to enjoy the aftermath of a textbook touchdown by Integrity that splashed down in the Pacific right on target to complete this historic flyby of the moon, the Artemis II mission. With that, we'll wrap up our coverage for the night and point you to a post-splashdown news conference in 15 minutes at 9:35 p.m. Central Time, 10:35 p.m. Eastern Time, where managers will discuss the return of the Integrity spacecraft and the completion of the Artemis II mission. With that, we'll wrap up our coverage for this evening and historic mission in the history books. This is Mission Control Houston.
All right, and this is Starship Adventures in Southwest Florida, broadcasting live on YouTube, the world's largest broadcast platform. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name's Ian. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This has been live coverage of the Artemis splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Another flawless performance. An excellent show today. They did a great job, very safe, and very happy with everything that happened. They're aboard ship now. And they will have probably about 3 or 4 hours to go through here. They're going to do a bunch of baseline medical tests. They'll probably go ahead and give them some kind of scans, MRIs, or I don't know, stuff like that. Check everything. They'll do all kinds of stuff because they test them right before they go to space. They test them right after they get back. Some of that may wait till they get back to the mainland. Some of it won't. So anyway, that's what we got. That's our coverage for tonight, guys. I've had a very long day, a very long week, and I still have to eat dinner, and I still have to put a weekend show together and put it in before I can go to bed, and I need to get up early and go get everything done. I have a weird feeling something's going to happen tomorrow. We do have a situation where tomorrow, the outlook for tomorrow, there is an area in Texas that could potentially see. Is that going to work? Why is that not working? I have to change that every time. Okay, there we go. This is our area for tomorrow, guys. This is our area for tomorrow. It's not that big an area, but it is over in West Texas, a little bit in New Mexico, mostly West Texas. And so we're going to watch that tomorrow night. Also tomorrow during the day. If we get tornadoes on the ground, I will break in. I'm going to come in live and we will cover it with scanners and everything like we normally do. And then Sunday, this is the outlook on Sunday. So we've got Oklahoma, Texas, southern Kansas, and it's going to come right over into the Dallas metro. And San Antonio, Oklahoma, areas all up and down through Oklahoma. So this is going to be possibly another busy day on Sunday. Does this look like a major long track outbreak? No. These are slight risk areas. There's a yellow. This is yellow. There's orange and red. So there's 2 more levels above this. So no, I don't think tomorrow's an incredibly bad day. I'm sorry, Sunday, but there is going to be a large area where tornadoes are possible. So we're going to be watching that. Also, this same area moving slightly east each day. We're going to see the same thing again for the 3 days following, eventually ending up over in Mississippi and Alabama and western Tennessee. So this whole area is going to slowly march to the east for the next 5 days, okay? And that's starting, like I said, tomorrow, which is this map here. We've got back over here. As far as what's going on right now, there is nothing going on right now. We've got some rain in California. What are all these warnings here? We got winter storm warnings in the California mountains. There you go. Crazy stuff. And we got some rain up here in Oregon, and then really just a smattering of crap. And you can quote me on that. Up here in the Northeast, we've got this line that's persisting up here and kind of hanging out. But it's going to move off, and there is no severe weather tonight. We have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, both of them in California. Here's one right here. A storm in Riverbank moving near Oakdale and Valley Home. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for 50-mile-an-hour winds, hail up to an inch. It expires in 19 minutes. And I think there was a second one. There it is right there. There it is. We've got another one here in California heading towards Durham. It's going to pass just south of Chico. It's southeast of Willows. So there you go. That's another one. A severe thunderstorm. But these are not tornado. They're only severe thunderstorm. And we do have one flash flood that's kind of in progress right now. Where are we at? Oh my goodness. We're in Hawaii. That's correct. We are in Hawaii. This is a flash flood warning right now. Issued for Honolulu, Hawaii. Flash flood warning remains in effect until 5 p.m. This afternoon for the island of Oahu in Honolulu County. And emergency management reporting heavy rain and flooding over the north shore of Oahu. Evacuations of Otake Camp is ongoing, and emergency management reports road closures of Wilkina Drive and Kukonahola. I can't pronounce this stuff. Radar indicated rain was falling at the rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour within some of the heavier showers. This is not the first time recently that we've had something like this. Look at this. So, a rainy night in Hawaii. Looks like it's going to break up now for a while, and maybe they'll get a break. Okay, so yes. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I'm tired. I got to eat, and then I'm going to put this show production together for tonight, and it's going to air in the morning. I have private clients that I make their weekend shows for them, and it helps pay the bills. And I got a couple of really good clients, and I dial into the station and I put everything in, so it's no big deal. I can do it from home. All right, guys. I guess that's about it. Last chance if anybody has anything they want to say. Yeah. Okay, dispatch, I'll check for that. And yeah, I saw what you guys are all talking about with DBI and all that. Yes, and I do. I agree. I just use it as a general idea of what I'm going to get out of the antenna. This particular antenna has over 7 dB a gain on UHF. That's why I bought this particular. There's 2 reasons I bought that particular antenna. It's $100. Number one, it does not require a ground plane. It's non-ground dependent antenna. Number two, it's NMO, easy to install. I've already got the stuff on the car. And number 3, the real high gain on UHF, because everything's going UHF down here. The statewide system, the regional system, both UHF. So I needed more gain on UHF than VHF, and that's why when I was at the big hamcation, I actually went to the Comet dealer, which they can't sell you anything because they're a retailer. I'm sorry, they're a wholesaler. I went and talked to him and I said, I want this antenna. What do I have to do? And he says, well, who do you like? HRO? I said, yeah, I buy stuff from HRO. I just bought a $1,200, $1,400 radio from them. And they said, well, go tell the guy this is the one you want. Here's my card. I wrote it. He wrote it on the back. Go tell him you want this one. He'll come get it from me and you'll have it. And I did. I walked over there and said, he said, go get this antenna and sell it to me. And that's how I got it. But it's a really good antenna. Anyway, there you go. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Sanguine. I hope you get feeling better. Well, thank you, Jungle. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to play some music. Continue to chat amongst yourself. If just so you know, if I play a 7-minute song and I look up and you guys are all still talking, or I'm reading what you guys are saying, or we're all talking, I'll play another song. I try to keep it going for a while if I see you guys in there. But I'm going to go, and I'm going to go get my work clothes off, and I'm going to go try to get me something to eat, and but I'm going to play some out music. You guys have a good one out there. This is Starship Adventures. My name's Ian. We'll be back tomorrow sometime during the day if there's breaking news. If not, tomorrow night, 9 p.m., for another episode of the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. See you guys tomorrow night. Have a good night, everybody. Safe tomorrow. 7-3s. 7-3s. We'll see you guys then.
Back in '69, sat on the floor with my eyes on the screen so wide. Watched those men in white suits take that giant leap, and something deep inside me swore I'd never lose that dream. Now here we are, all these years gone by, but America's still reaching for that same blue sky. Orion's rolling for brave souls inside, headed where no one's been since Apollo said goodbye. We're going back to the moon, back where we belong, carrying the fire, singing freedom song, from the red dirt of Texas to the Florida shore. We never stopped dreaming, we just wanted more. Artemis is rising, hear the engines roar. America's returning to that distant shore. We're going back to the moon, hand in hand with pride. The greatest nation on earth is taking back the sky. They said it couldn't be done, said we lost our way. But look at us now, we're flying higher every day. say we're too divided, say we've lost our spark. But when America aims for the heavens, we still hit the mark. We built the rockets, we trained the crews, we turned science fiction into front page news. This isn't just a mission, it's a promise we made to every kid who ever looked up and dreamed they'd escape. We're showing the world what America can do when we pull together and we see it through. Let the cynics keep talking, let the doubters complain. We'll be up there writing history in the dark again. One small step was never meant to be the end, it was only the beginning. My America.
This is the YouTube channel Starship Adventures, broadcasting live from Starship Studios in North Fort Myers, Florida, in the United States of America. We thank you for joining us this evening for another broadcast of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, covering every breaking news story across this troubled planet of ours. We brought you the raw, unfiltered pulse of the world in real time through our unique multi-screen format, broadcasting in high definition worldwide via fiber optic connection. Starship Adventures, a new kind of YouTube content. To our regular viewers, our loyal crew members, our amazing moderators, and everyone who tunes in each night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we thank you. Your support keeps this independent voice alive and well. We'll be back tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern with another live edition of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and may God bless you and these United States of America. This is Starship Adventures, and this concludes our broadcast day. Good night, America, and around the world. Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra, signing off. QSY, 7-3s, everyone, 7-3s.